what happened initially? What was the big boom key evidence that they had against you, if they did, that they showed
They
you?
didn't have any evidence. They were just questioning me. They said that apparently their timing and my timing were off, which is unusual because I'm pretty good at recollecting times. So I'm 99.99999,000% sure that I knew exactly what time we left the house that night for Brandon's car. I knew what time I left during the day. Like, I'm a very time punctual person.
Your time.
I don't know. I'd say probably close to 3:30 or 4, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like I said, this is years ago. You know what I mean? I don't remember verbatim everything, so I'm sorry if I'm not able to remember specifics, but I try. But I got home and everything was just as it should be, you know, as a normal household should be, you know, peaceful, quiet, you know, not nothing exciting, you know. And then Brandon had approached Sarah and I because he had been asking for a little while, but he wanted Sarah and I to help him go get his vehicle from Kuna, which was parked at his mom's house. So about when it started getting dark, probably 5:30, 5:45, somewhere around the end of the 5 o'clock hour, we all got ready and got into the Sierra, the red burgundy truck.
Okay, what time do you remember being on Arizona and 8th Street when you were putting power steering fluid? And I'm not a mechanic, as you know. We talked today about my truck.
I would say probably early 6 o'clock hour. Early 6 o'clock hour, like between 6 and 6:15, easy.
Okay, we have a. So you're saying like around 6 o'clock you were putting the power steering fluid in there.
Okay, do you know what time Michael went missing?
No. We, like I said, the neighborhood was completely quiet when we left to go get Brandon's car. No movement, no activity, nothing. And we got back later on that night, like I said, between 9 and 10, and we literally noticed we pulled into the on Southwest 8th Street, and there was a shit ton of activity. People everywhere, cops everywhere, etc.
Car.
I got home at 4, like I said, between 3:30 and 4 o'clock, and we left about 5:15 or 5:30 at night. So, give or take an hour.
Did law enforcement ever show you the time that you left to go tow the car?
No, they didn't have any specific. They had pictures of the truck leaving the neighborhood, correct? And that was exactly at the time that I told you guys on here, between 5:30 and 6.
Well, it sounds to me like you would be home during that time then. I mean, I'm big about time. I mean, obviously not today because, you know, we had a snowstorm. Mermaid said, I'm confused all the time. Don't feel bad. So, I mean, if you left a few hours after being home for a few hours, wouldn't you be home during the time that Michael went missing? We're just trying to clear things up.
No, I told you, Michael went missing that night after we had all left. And I recommend applying for housing at that trailer and be semester. Okay. I literally was gone from the time 1 o'clock to at least 3 or 4.
Uh-oh, we lost Stacey. So the timestamp was before you guys left to go tow the car.
No, the timestamp of when he went missing was it like 6 o'clock or 6:30 at night or 7. We left at 5:30. That's when they timestamped us leaving the neighborhood.
And what time did you leave to go tow the truck?
About 5:30.
Okay.
But we didn't get back till 9:30 or 10. So that would make sense that it was dark out when we got back. Yes.
Okay. There we go.
Okay.
He was on foot near his home between 6:30 and 7:15.
Okay. Like I said, we left the house at 5:30 that night.
Okay, so the taxi run was at 1:50.
Yep. Correct.
When
I got
were
back
you
about 4
when
p.m.
were you on camera? Time did the police? They had a timestamp because they always have everything timestamped. What time did they show you in the neighborhood? Or show
In
your
the truck or in the Lexus when I went earlier that day.
the truck?
We left at like 5:30 last night, and that's what the timestamp verified. Sarah, me, Brandon were in the car, the truck. We had pulled off by Arizona and 8th Street on the side of the road. I had been putting power steering fluid in the truck. I noticed a kid down the road, kind of in the yard, that was playing, just doing his thing, being himself, and it was a secure neighborhood. I didn't think anything of it at all. But I'd also say it's probably like 5:35, 5:40. If I had to put a time frame on it, when I saw this, but he looked nothing like Michael at all. He looked taller. He definitely did not look like a 5-year-old boy, for sure. A lot of you are probably going to ask me specifics on what he was wearing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I'm not even going to guess because I'm not going to be that person that speculates and is wrong and then has a bunch of people hating on me again. So, I mean, I'm not going to mislead somebody. I'm not going to give misled information. So,
I'm just trying to get a location where you would have stopped, a good general basis of where you stopped. Like
so do you know where Arizona is, right? So you pull out the subdivision, hidden meadow subdivision, you take a left, and right there's a little dirt patch right before the
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yep. So we pulled off right on the right hand side of the road.
Okay.
Before Arizona.
Okay. Now let me ask you this.
Probably 500 feet before.
Okay, so in this, what time would you think this was during the day?
5:15. No, sorry. We left about 5:30, so doing like 5:40.
5:40. Okay.
In my bar.
Do you think you was there putting power steering fluid in the vehicle?
At max 30 seconds. It doesn't take very long.
And then you jump in and you leave from there and you continue down 8th Street to go to Brandon's, what is it, his mother's house?
In Kuna, yeah.
What I'm watching, 8th Street's the only way in, the only way out. And what time do you think you enter 8th Street coming back with the tow?
What time do you think we got back?
Yeah, with the tow from Brandon's house after he washed the clothes and you hooked up the video.
No, it was probably 9:15, 9:30 at night.
9:30 at night. Okay. Come up here.
Not a problem. Thank you all. And just want to say, if you want to do another interview, I'm down for it because I need to make some too, so.
Okay, well, think about some things. If you can remember some things that come to mind, I'll talk to you off screen in a little bit, Stacey. I'll hit you up. You have a good one, man. I appreciate it.
Okay. So I'd say, it's going to sound stupid, but going back to the timestamps, I would say 6:30 or 7 is when we left.
When you left.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So you leave at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. And you guys are making a trip from Fruitland
Correct.
to
Kuna.
Kuna.
Huh?
You
Kiko
didn't post
says
my
she
Cash App
believes
on.
you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
dang. I forgot. You have to tell me what it is because I don't know how to put that thing up there. There you go. I told you I was going to post it, so sorry, I totally forgot. You're
Thank you.
welcome.
So I just want to tell the viewers that
Yeah, Mirandy.
I am kind of having a pretty rough time right now, and currently trying to get on my feet with a vehicle. I'm kind of down and out, and can't really run my company without a vehicle. So if you all want to donate anything to my Cash App, that would be extremely appreciated, and I'd be extremely grateful.
You have never talked to Brandy, right? Have you talked to Brandy?
Nope.
No. So he thought the body was still there, didn't know they had moved it. But he said that he faked the story. It wasn't true. And I told him that he needed to pay for them. They needed to pay for them digging up that yard.
I know this video is supposed to be solely based on the time frames that Stacey gave, but I have to share my thoughts about this last little clip that we just heard. And I'm going to give you fair warning before I say my thoughts that I'm not going to be very nice right now. I'm so furious that I can barely think straight. I have 2 more clips after this one, but I need to respond to this last clip first. So let's hear it one more time.
You have never talked to Brandy, right? Have you talked to Brandy?
Nope.
No. So he thought the body was still there, didn't know they had moved it. But he said that he faked the story. It wasn't true. And I told him that he needed to pay for them. They needed to pay for them digging up that yard.
So this chick who deleted this live stream interview or put it in members only or something, it's gone. She asked if this slob, Stacey, had ever spoken to Brandy. And then in the very next breath, she reads a comment, which I agree with, and says the slob said he lied about a 5-year-old baby boy named Michael Joseph Vaughan being buried in his backyard. This slob claims that he lied to law enforcement to end his interrogation because he's a weak bitch boy. But I digress. This chick laughs, as she said, I told him he needed to pay for them digging up that yard. What the fuck is funny about that? And how's he supposed to pay for that excavation process anyway when he's on here begging for shoes and a damn coat? I'd say the only damn thing that this nasty slob bitch baby needs to do is tell law enforcement what they did with Michael Joseph Vaughan on Tuesday, July 27th, 2021, and where Monkey was the very last time this slob saw him or knew exactly where they had him. That is what Stacey James Wondra needs to fucking do, in my opinion, allegedly. Let's listen to these last 2 clips before I share all of my thoughts on this whole video and try to wrap this up.
That is his Cash App. He asked me to put it out because he needs clothes and shoes. What would he like to talk about, or what would he like us to ask about?
Ask anything that pertains to the case, but I'm not telling my story again. You will find every answer that I have given on the other YouTubers' podcasts.
He is honestly being disrespectful to your viewers. I don't understand why we must see other shows. Everyone doesn't watch everyone's channel. Different creators have different populations, as you can tell.
Okay, so go check them out.
I'm just reading chat to you, so.
No. I'm not being disrespectful. If I was being disrespectful, you wouldn't see me on here. Trust me. I can be a lot worse than this. Be thankful you guys are getting what you're getting. Be thankful you guys are getting what you're getting.
Is your heart black because you have no empathy for anything?
Hey, like I said, I have more empathy for situations you guys realize. Again, check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah, he just said you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Yeah, that's what he said. This was this slob's 7th interview. He must have finally realized that he never told the same story or repeated the same time frame twice. let alone 6 times. So on this interview, if that's what you want to call it, he was rude AF to anyone who questioned his timeline. He must not be as dumb as he tries to tell us he is. IQ of 62 or 64 or whatever. He's just a really bad pathological liar. He lies to lie, in my opinion. He lies to mess with people and get whatever he can get for free. In my opinion, he's a lazy crybaby bitch boy who can't keep a job because he's too lazy and whiny. He acts like he is God's gift and we should bow down to him. Wrong. We want answers to find Michael Joseph Vaughan and to get justice for Michael Joseph Vaughan. I believe 10,000% that this nasty slob has dirty hands, literally and figuratively. I absolutely believe Stacey Wondra knows exactly what happened to Michael Vaughan on July 27th, 2021, between 6:40 and 7 p.m. I absolutely believe that he was one of the last people to see Michael Vaughan. I absolutely believe that this slob was trying to make a deal with law enforcement when he told them the truth. Not lied, but the truth that Monkey was buried in his backyard. And was is being the key word. Okay, so after reviewing the many different times that the slob gave us in 7 different interviews, we can see that he doesn't recall the exact time of anything from July 27th, 2021. He shared a screenshot with Justin from his timeline on the 27th, allegedly at 9:56 p.m., that showed that he took a picture of an air compressor unit pump that Brandon Shurtliff's car needed, allegedly. But when he tells the story of this location where they had to stop, he tells why they stopped, because Sarah gunned it instead of slowly accelerating and broke the tow strap. He tells us that Sarah got out to pee like she always did, but the only time that we've heard about this air compressor unit pump was when he showed this screenshot. He never said that Brandon got out of his car either. He said that they were stopped for about 10 minutes, long enough for him to tie the broken strap together, which that would make the tow strap a few feet shorter and harder to tow the car without the car hitting the truck.
But my dad told me along here, and I try to keep my eyes out in front of him, just in case somebody would try to pull out in front of us, that I can really, really slow him down. He will not hit the brakes, folks. He won't. I have to be his brakes. I'm the one who's stopping him.
Now, I do know a little bit about cars. Even though I have a uterus, I also know about vehicles. I know that it's not easy to tow with a tow strap. The timing, you have to be meticulous on the timing. And they drove 45 to 50 miles on a tow strap. And then when they broke the tow strap, they were approximately 25 minutes away from home. I call BS on this whole tow story, but that is what Stacey is using to show a timeline and location on July 27th, 2021. But we'll come back to that when we get to that time in the day. Let's go in chronological order. All the other timestamps, the mini timestamps, were based on his memories and guesstimations. He tried his very best to make the Three Stooges be out of the area at the time when Monkey was last seen. I clipped the spots where the slob spoke about returning from the taxi run, mainly when he claims the Three Stooges left the area where Monkey was last seen around 6:40 p.m. and 7 p.m., and when they returned home from Kuna. So let's review these times. Now, these are in order as Dum Dum said them. So he basically said between 3 and 4 p.m. is when he got home from doing his taxi run. He claims that he left his house at 1:30 p.m. That time, he claimed that law enforcement showed him a time-stamped video of him at the splashpad. This is when he was leaving his neighborhood to start his taxi run. He had said 1:15 to 1:30 to Justin, but we'll just go with the 1:30 p.m. So he said he left his home, stopped at the splashpad to pick up his chew at 1:30, and then made his way to Ontario, which is about a 10 to 15 minute drive, depending on traffic. He picked up his client and headed from Ontario to the Boise airport, which is about a 50 to 60 minute drive. This puts Stacey at the airport around 2:45 to 3 p.m. So he drops his client off at the airport around 2:45 or 3, and then he said that he stayed in Boise and hung out with Labor Dave, and he gave us a different time frame on there too. I know, shocking, right? He said about 15 to 30 minutes. He said up to an hour. So we're going to go with the hour. We're going to give him that full hour, making it around 4 p.m. when he left Boise to head back to Ontario, allegedly. So now another 50 to 60 minutes later, he's back in Ontario to maybe do another run and to stop at A&W to go through the drive-thru for food because he's not getting his lazy ass out of the car to walk inside. Now, this would put him back in Ontario 5 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. Then he has another 10 to 15 minute drive home, putting him at home between 5:30 and 5:45 p.m. Stay with me. I know this is confusing. We're going to get through these time frames one way or another. I promise. Today is day 7 that I have been working on this video. I've been trying my best to get every detail that Stacey said in his first 7 interviews. He's done 3 more just since I started working on this video. So I'll make a part 2 after this one. So make sure that you're subscribed and ring-a-ding the bell because part 2 is going to have a lot more information in it also. This is basically the baseline. Now, back to the next section of time. On July 27th, 2021. Now, Stacey said he was at home for about an hour or an hour and a half. If he got home at my guesstimation of time of 5:30 p.m., that lines up with one of his timelines of leaving for Kuna. But I do question this. Stacey provided this screenshot to prove that he went to A&W. The problem is, he said that he went to the A&W in Ontario when he maybe did a second taxi run. Well, that's wrong. So is Stacey's time really off and the location is totally wrong? Because this says Payette. Or is this edited to make up a timeline for Stacey on July 27th, 2021? Anyway, I'll elaborate more on this in part 2. Let's go back to the Wondra house at 5:30 p.m. Now, Slob said that he got home and hung out for about an hour, so that moves us up to 6:30 p.m. I believe this is when Stacey, Sarah, and Brandon left to go to Kuna, to Brandon's mom's house. Brandon Shurtliff had a 2000 Mercedes-Benz parked at his mom, Tina's house. Now, according to Slobby Stacey, he said they left the house here on Red Wing and drove down Meadow Lake Avenue, took a right, and then a left up to the stop sign. Slob said they turned left and the steering wheel was whiny. So Sarah pulled their burgundy GMC Sierra 1500 4-door over right here in this dirt patch, just feet before Arizona Avenue on Southwest 8th Street. Let me show you how close this corner is to where Monkey's home is. If we turn right here on Arizona Avenue, go past this one house, and then turn left on this very first street, which is Southwest 9th Street, and stop right here, this is the Vaughan home, where Monkey was last seen on the same day, July 27th, 2021, between 6:40 p.m. and 7 p.m. And what time did Stacey tell Justin that they left to go to Kuna to get Brandon Shurtliff's car?
It's going to sound stupid, but going back to the timestamps, I would say 6:30 or 7 was when we left.
Okay, let's jump back over here on 8th Street, just before Arizona, on this corner. So Sarah pulled over here and popped the hood on this 4-door truck so that Slob could slide out and add power steering fluid. He said multiple time lengths on how long this took. I recall him saying 30 seconds up to 5 minutes. This is also the exact spot and time he said that he saw a boy on the sidewalk or in a neighbor's yard, because he said both. He said the boy had short dark brown hair like his. Slob said this boy didn't depict Monkey at all. He said the boy looked older, like around 7 or 8 years old, and he, quote, could see his face, end quote, from this corner of 8th and Arizona.
But he was by a house. Was it like
There's a whole stretch of houses.
at Southwest 8th and Arizona? Okay. About how many houses down did you see him?
I don't know. I could see him in the distance. You know what I mean? Like there was a. I mean, I could see the face, but I don't. I mean, I could see the face, but I don't. There was probably 5, 6, 7 houses down.
But that's not even the best part. Now remember, Slob has done 11 interviews to date of January 30th, 2024. During this video, part 1, I'm only using what he said in the first 7 interviews. Part 2 will have the additional details that this Slob shared in the last 3 interviews. Now make sure that you're subscribed. Ring my bell. Okay. Here's the best part, in my opinion. Slobby Stacey said this boy was 5, 6, or 7 houses away from him, but he could see his face, remember. So if we look at this block right here on 8th Street between Arizona and Washington, there's only 6 houses total. Plus, from this view, there's no way he could see a kid's face 5 to 7 houses away. No way. So he puts the fluid in, and then they drive down 8th Street to head to Kuna. Not one time did Slobby Stacey say that he drove past that kid, which he would have had to. He could have gotten a much better view at this random 8-year-old boy playing in a neighbor's yard. Anyway, the 3 Stooges traveled from Fruitland to Kuna, which is about an hour drive, making them arrive between 7:30 p.m. and 8 p.m. Slobby Stacey said that he pulled off to the side, past the front door, to avoid Tina's Ring doorbell camera. Slobby Stacey says that Brandon got out of the back passenger side of their 4-door GMC Sierra and walked to the right side of the garage and went through the gate to go into the garage with his duffel bag that was kind of small and not big enough to fit a human inside, because Brandon had some dirty clothes in this duffel bag that he threw in the washer. He said that Brandon changed his clothes, but didn't wash the clothes that he was wearing. I'm not quite sure how he would know that if he wasn't inside the house with Brandon. He said that Brandon grabbed some clean clothes and put them in the duffel bag, and that he was inside Tina's house for about 10 minutes. 10, okay? Now, during Stacey the Slob's very first interview on January 8th, 2024, he told Brooks this.
Brandon's mom's house, you said Sarah used the bathroom. Did she walk in the front door, or how did she get in?
Through the garage.
Is it like one of those garage doors that you hit the button and the garage door comes up, or is it one of those like where you pull it up?
No, it was the garage door button.
Who had the garage door opener?
He knows the code to the little thing that's on the side of the garage that opens the garage door, the pin you put in. The code opener. She went through the far side of the garage, and she only has cameras on the front of her door.
And that was the day that Michael was abducted.
Yes.
But has said Sarah stayed outside with him in every interview after. Why is that?
Did you and Sarah go into his mom's house with him when he like snuck in there?
No, Sarah stayed in the truck. I had to push Brandon's car out of the driveway, the garage that goes out to the backyard.
And did Sarah go in?
No, Sarah stayed in the truck.
Okay, because didn't you earlier say she went in to pee?
No.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sarah went pee on the side. Sarah went pee on the side of the road when the tow strap broke, which we can cover.
Oh yeah,
Is he trying to cover for Sarah? Or did he go in the house too? And he's trying to cover for himself and for Sarah. As for Slobby, he jumped out of the burgundy GMC Sierra, grabbed the tow strap, pushed Brandon's 2000 Mercedes-Benz into the road all by his Hercules self, and hooked the tow straps to the vehicles. He said this took him about 15 minutes. Okay, 15. The rest of the time, while the loving couple waited on Sarah's side piece, Brandon, the slob said that he blasted music that he loves, but Sarah hates. And he said that the two did not talk at all. Now, I'm not the greatest at math, even though I did graduate high school, but Slob said Brandon was inside Tina's house while she was in Arizona, and he broke in even though he wasn't supposed to be in the house when Tina was gone, because stuff vanishes when he is. But he was inside for 10 minutes, and it took Stacey 15 minutes to hook up the car. But then he said that he and Sarah had to wait on Brandon, but Brandon took 10 minutes inside, and Stacey took 15 minutes to hook up the car outside. But Stacey and Sarah had to wait on Brandon, so they listened to super loud music. Anyway, so now we're up to between 7:45 p.m. and 8:15 p.m., right? This is when the Three Stooges head back to Fruitland from Kuna. This is approximately an hour and a half drive because they took the long way home. But when you're towing a car with a tow strap, you can't go over like 35 miles an hour, really. So an hour drive can easily turn into a 2 or 3 hour drive. Slobby Stacey provided his very first receipt to Justin on January 21st, 2024, his 4th interview total, but his one and only with Justin. He claimed that Sarah drove the GMC while Slobby Stacey sat in the passenger seat to teach her how to tow with a tow strap, and Brandon was steering his own car following behind them. Slobby Stacey said that Sleazy Sarah hit that accelerator too hard and broke that tow strap. So they had to pull over right here by Eagle, Idaho. Hero Slobby Stacey slid out of the GMC again to go tie the broken tow strap back together. Justin asked how far away from Fruitland they were at this spot, and this is what Slobby Stacey said.
It's a timestamp from July 27th at 9:56 p.m.
Correct.
All right. And how far are you from home here?
They're about 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Okay.
But when Justin mapped it, as Stacey told him to, it said 50 minutes right there on the screen. And this was allegedly at 9:56 p.m. This would put that 50 minutes at right around 2 hours probably left to get to their home in Fruitland. Eagle is only 23 minutes from Tina's house in Kuna. Maybe about 45 minutes into this tow, depending on how fast Sarah was going. So 2 hours from 9:56 p.m. would put them back at home between 10:45 and 11:15 p.m. Slobby said that they got home between 9 and 10 p.m. That's not even possible if his receipt was not edited, nor is it possible by using my own math. Now we know that Brandon Shurtliff told totally different events without times, so hopefully he'll come on again and give his timeline and where everyone was again. During Slobby Stacey's interview tour, he never changed the part about Adrien not being at the Wondras. When Sleazy Sarah and Duffelbag Brandon took him to Nampa, where he stayed all night and came back the next morning on Wednesday, July 28th, 2021. So there we go. We made it through this complete fuckery of times. I hope that this helps break it down for everyone and helps anyone who missed any of the first 7 interviews that I added into this video. Make sure that you share this video with anyone and everyone. Stacey really tried to throw all of us off with his many different times. Sorry it didn't work. If he didn't lie about the places that he went throughout the day, my timeline is more probable than his. In my opinion, allegedly. Part 2 will be the other 3 interviews that Slobby did. One he did with Dr. John and one he did with Lauren, and they are both on the channel called Hidden True Crime. The one with Dr. John is set to members only because Slobby Stacey shared way too much personal information about his family, who is not involved with Stacey's slimy, slobby life at all. The last interview that he did to date, January 30th, 2024, was with Reverend Donna Serafina. The important times will be added into part 2. So that's all I have for this part 1 video. Leave me a comment and let me know what you think about all of this. Is Slobby Stacey intentionally lying on every interview? Or is his memory really this bad? Or is he adjusting the times as he goes to try to make himself look innocent? You let me know. Don't forget to smooch the thumbs up before you click onto the next video. And I hope that you have the kind of day that karma feels you've earned. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, till next time, I love you bunches.
I'm a very time punctual person.